Okay, welcome back. Good morning to all of my dear viewers. In today's session, we are going to discuss a very serious issue of our community. And on the board, you can say that what are the issue. Obviously, rape is a very serious issue of our community. So ये जो चैप्टर है वाकई में काफ़ी ज़्यादा सीरियस है और मेरा जो पढ़ाने का तरीका ये है कि थोड़ा सा ना हैप्पीनेस एक्सप्रेशन जो है वो निकल जाता है। सो अगर इस वीडियो में मेरे से अगर हैप्पीनेस एक्सप्रेशन अगर निकलता है तो इसके लिए बिल्कुल माफ़ी चाहेंगे। ओके, सो इस डिस्क्लेमेशन के साथ टॉपिक्स को स्टार्ट किया जाए। सो we start the topic with definition of rape. What is the definition of rape? So definition of rape is given or mentioned under the 63 BNS, and also along with the definition they also mention the description of rape. I mean both description and the definition of rape is mentioned under the 63 BNS. So what is the definition of rape according to 63 BNS? The definition of rape according to the 63 BNS, it mentioned that a person is said to commit rape if having a history of penetration of a penis into the vagina, urethra, oral cavity, or what's urethra. So four things they mention. One is the vagina, the second is oral cavity, and the third is anus, and what is the fourth things? Fourth things is the anus. So here the four things are mentioned. One is the vagina, urethra, anus, and mouth. So in any of the four things, if any person having a history of penetration of penis in any of these four things, it is considered as a rape. So what is the second criteria? In second criteria they mention that if any object is inserted into the vagina, urethra, and the anus, they are considered as the rape. And the third criteria is that manipulation of any part of the female body as a purpose of what's insertion and penetration, it is also considered under the rape. And the last and the fourth criteria is that application of mouth into the vagina, anus, and the urethra, it is also considered as a rape. So in the definition they basically mention the fourth things. The first is about the penetration, the second is insertion, and the third is manipulation, and the fourth is what application. Point to be noted, this criteria you have to memorize this criteria in a sequential manner. That means the A criteria is for the what's penetration, B is for the insertion, and C is for the manipulation, and the D is for the application. Because in exams they given question in such like fashion, they mention A and force. So you have to memorize that this A criteria is for which is. So this A criteria is for the penetration. If I replace this A by B, so if I replace this A by B, it indicates the insertion, and if I replace B by C, then it indicates what manipulation. So you have to memorize these all four criteria in a sequential manner, because in exams they ask question in such fashions. So after the definition of rape, now we move towards the description of rapes. So there are 7 description of rapes, and you have to also memorize these all 7 description of rapes in a sequential manner. So if the in exams they ask question, you solve it. Okay, so what are the first description of rapes? The first description of rape is the against her will. The second description is without her consent, and the third description is consent is taken under the influence of fear. So if any person take the consent of any female under the influence of fear, this consent is invalid. The fourth thing is consents are taken under the impersonation of a husband. So what is the meaning of this impersonation? Impersonation means if any person they come into the dark rooms and they believe that he is her husband. So this is called the impersonation. Impersonation means false beliefs to any woman that he is her husband. Okay, so after discussing the impersonation, what are the fifth criteria? The fifth criteria is the consents are taken under the influence of the intoxication. Intoxication means consents are taken when any females are under the influence of the alcohols and the drugs. So if any females are under the influence of alcohols and drugs, in that condition the consents are also invalid. And the sixth criteria are the consents are taken when with or without consent when the age of girl is less than 80 years. Okay, so if the age of girl is less than 80 years, so in that condition the consent is again invalid. And the seventh criteria is when unable to communicate verbal or non-verbal. So if any female is unable to communicate both verbal and non-verbal condition, so in that condition there is no validity of any consent. So these all are the 7 description of the rape and the 4th criteria of the definition of rapes, and you have to memorize this 4th definition, criteria and description in a sequential manner. Now what about the punishment of rapes? So the punishment of rapes is decided under the 64 BNS. So according to 64 BNS, if any girl child is less than 80 years, then the punishment is more than 10 years to life imprisonment according to 64 BNS. And if the rape is did by any authorized person like doctors, any administrative officers like police officers, magistrates like that, so they are punishment under the 65 BNS, and the fine their punishment is fine plus more than 10 years to life imprisonment. Rape plus murder is considered under the 66 BNS, and the gang rape is considered under the 70 BNS. So these all about the definition, description and the punishment of rape. So I hope you can understand the lectures, and अगर मेरे से किसी भी तरह का कोई हैप्पीनेस वाला एक्सप्रेशन आया होगा तो बिल्कुल माफ़ी चाहेंगे. So that's all for today.